Alright, so I realized as the world's worst content creator, I don't update as much as I should, I guess. So this is the Ford Ranger, as you can see. And as you can see, we've got some of this stuff actually hardwired in and some more taps. So I went ahead with the wires that I had already verified, I've already cut out and redid. These are the ones that I'm still testing. As you can see, they're all predominantly white. And what these wires mean is that they are auxiliary outputs. So outputs are things like the ECU is sending a signal out. So the fans, idle air control valve, tachometer, AC compressor, etc. So these are all aux outputs, and then we're going to go test them. So now what we're going to do is we're basically going to input into the software. So this, for instance, is AC demand, which should be the AC compressor, and that's going to be aux 6. So we're basically going to throw these auxes into their respective spot in the software, and then we will test them out. So I'm not going to bore you guys with the detail, but essentially this is all we're doing. So this is aux 6, and we're going to rinse and repeat this until we're done. Whoops. It's not right. There we go. All right, so we got it punched in, but there is an issue here with some of these aux, which is again why we wanted to test it first. So I'm gonna have to go back and look through the AC clutch trigger, relay trigger, and see what that's all about. And then, so there's further down here, there's an actual AC clutch relay here that I have on aux 1. So I'm not really sure. I'm gonna have to go over here, but if you listen, I don't know if you're gonna be able to hear it, but hopefully you do. That's the sound of the AC compressor kicking on, and then this is the sound. You may not be able to hear it, but that's actually the fan running right there. So, but it does sound very, very weak, and I'm not sure why. So we're gonna have to go through and take a look at the actual diagrams to figure this part out. All right, so I'm a partial idiot. The reason why the fan sounds so weak is because, well, gee, there's a mechanical fan there. But if you peek your head in there, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get this, but if you peek your head in there, there's also a smaller electric fan, so thusly that's why it sounds weak. So we know the fan trigger is right, and we know the AC compressor is partially right. We're gonna have to look through the diagram to see, just to be on the safe side though, but we're on the up and up. All right, so when working on stuff like this, I always like to work backwards. So the one that we're suspect about is the AC clutch. So this one right here. So we're going to work backwards, and we're gonna see that the gray white, which actually turns on the compressor, is here on this relay. So we know that this wire is going to be power, so we're not concerned about that. We're going to be looking at mainly this pink yellow and this red wire. So going up to the red wire, it gets kicked off of another relay, so we know that's a power wire. So we're more concerned about pink yellow. So pink yellow should be grounded by the ECU, which is 69. I'm pretty sure that's what I have in my diagram. So let's find pin 69 on our diagram right here, and we have that to aux 5. So that is correct. That actually works how it's intended. So what we don't know then is what this aux 1 is for, and that goes to 86. So let's go back here and take a look at pins 86 and see what we can find. So here's 86. 86 goes to, okay, so that goes to an AC compressor switch. So I'm assuming that this switch grounds and tells that everything is a-okay. Okay, so we've made a little bit more progress. So I have mapped out here AC demand. This is wrong. I have it into an aux output. This is actually an input, so it needs to go into a switch. So the way this works is that in this mode right here, this is basically anything that tells the AC to come on, and that goes here. So what we've got to do is switch this pin 41 violet into an input on the ECU side. So basically this switch tells the ECU like, hey, you know, we're requesting for AC, and then at that point we kick over the compressor. Now, what we need to do as well is integrate this switch as well. So this switch goes into the high and low pressure switch, and it says that if this ground is good, then AC is good to come on. Another thing that I'm going to do today, because I am all alone and no one loves me, is I'm going to check out spark on my own. So this uses a dumb coil, and it's also wasted spark, so we're only going to be testing 1 and 2. So technically, when I hit 1, it should fire 2 coils at the same time. If you guys have watched my other videos, we're going to use this fellow here, and what this does is we're basically going to tap it here, and it should beep when we have spark. All right, it just told me to go get bent. So we're going to check out the second one and try it again. And it seems like we don't have spark. All right, so I guess we're going to have to look into that a little bit more and see what's going on. I hear something clicking though. Weird. So after checking spark on my own, I was able to get it to spark, make sure all that stuff is good. I kind of made a silly fuel table. Our fuel, I can tell you now that our injector data is definitely not right. There's no reason why it should take 70 in a VE for it to run an idle on stock injectors. So there's definitely something going on there. I don't really care because we're going to be changing out injectors. But as you can see, our tachometer is working. You can't see it, but AC is definitely working. Yeah, so this is probably the world's first and last Ranger here that's going to be on a standalone ECU probably. But so definitely running pretty decent. So let's get this injector thing figured out and we'll go from there. So one other thing I wanted to talk about here that I should have checked earlier, but if you look at the EMU, you can see that it says 1600. On the TAC, it's at 800. So the cool thing about standalones, like even when you do swaps, like when you swap engines, the tachometer doesn't work right. But on a standalone ECU, you can make it work right. So we're gonna change the multiplier here. So I'd say, yeah, maybe half off, right? So we'll do 1.5 and see what that gets us. So that gets us about 1400. So let's try 1.7. Keep in mind I'm still holding the throttle here with my foot. So 1.7 doesn't do it. 1.8. Let's try 1.9. 1.9 is pretty close, still not right. So let's do a full 2 on the software there. And I would say that's pretty close. We'll bring this up to about 2,000 here. Let's see if I can bring it up to 2,000. So that's 2,000 on the TAC, 2,100 on the ECU. Close enough, we'll call it good.